guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. It truly is. Before we get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so. It really helps me out and I really appreciate it. Okay, so today we're talking about 15-year-old Ivan Nicholas Nick Vitesnik. He was born on November 2nd, 2005 in Salt Lake City, Utah, to parents Stephanie and Ivan. From the day this child was born, he has had to overcome obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. He was born very fragile and jaundiced, and he spent the first month of his life in the hospital. He would then end up back in the hospital for a week for a respiratory RSV. March 23rd, 2019, when Nick was just 13 years old, his mother Stephanie, who he was extremely close to, passed away from colon cancer at the age of 43. 43. That's scary. His father, Ivan, would pass away a little over 2 years later from a heart attack. After being left an orphan, Nick's Aunt Carrie, who is Mom Stephanie's sister, happily became his legal guardian. And he had a really great support system. He had aunts that loved him, uncles, grandparents, cousins. He had a great support system, which was it's so crucial. But they're not his parents. More specifically, they're not his mom. Nick would often go for walks when he would begin to feel overwhelmed about all the hands that he's been dealt thus far in his life. And he would walk down to a church parking lot, and he would often call his Aunt Julie while he was there, who was like his makeshift therapist. And the reason he would go to the church parking lot to talk to Aunt Julie, or I guess to talk to friends or whoever when things were bothering him, is because that was the last place that he saw his mother's face before her funeral. Even after all these cards that he was dealt, Nick was described as a gentle giant. He loved to make people laugh. He always wanted his friends to feel good about themselves, and he just loved people. May 26, 2021. Just a few days after returning home from a trip to Sherman, Texas, where he was visiting his sister and his uncle, Nick had plans to interview with one of Aunt Carrie's friends for a summer job. The interview was scheduled for that day at 5 o'clock, but that interview would never happen. At 4:30 p.m., Aunt Carrie gets a call telling her that she needs to come home. There's an emergency, and it involves Nick. At 7:30 that evening, Aunt Carrie would be told that Nick was dead, shattering the lives of so many that loved him and adored him. None of his hopes or dreams for the future would ever come to fruition. But the hits just keep on coming for these poor people that have been through so much, and they just deserve a break. Like, Lord, please give them a break. As if all of this was not enough, the how and the who would be revealed. The family would be told that Nick was found in a cargo trailer, stabbed and dismembered. The trailer he was found in belonged to his best friend's father, who stumbled across the body while he was looking for his son, 17-year-old Rowdy Lee Aguilar. Nick was stabbed in the head 26 times and there was one fatal wound to the neck. Officers say when they arrived at the trailer that it stunk of cleaning agents. They have also said that Rowdy does have like a small criminal history, but nothing that would indicate that he was capable of doing something like this. Surveillance footage from both of the boys' homes show the two of them walking into Rowdy's house that morning. Then a few hours later, Rowdy is spotted on camera exiting the home in a bloody t-shirt. It also picked up Rowdy going back and forth from the home to the backyard, carrying a large black trash bag and then carrying a white trash bag. The bags that he was holding are believed to be the same bags that police would later find Nick's limbs in. I don't understand this. Shit like this would never even remotely cross my mind when I was that young. Ever! I don't understand. I'll never understand. A knife that was found inside the trailer and inside of Aguilar's home matched the injuries to Nick's body. When Aguilar was arrested, officers found blood on his hand, pants, socks, and shoes. While at the police station, waiting to be questioned, Aguilar is seen on camera. He stands up, he grabs his handcuffs, and he starts pulling on them, which causes them to break away from the wall. He then tries to leave the room and get out. So this is so bad on so many levels. First of all, it reiterates the fact to me that Aguilar has zero respect for authority, which makes him a huge threat to society. I'm just telling you that's how I feel. Worse than that, though, why was he able to break free of the handcuffs in the first place? I would hope that because he was only 17, that maybe they didn't put them on as tight as they should have, or that maybe it was just an accident, like, oh, you know, whatever. The cop that put the cuffs on was having a bad day and just screwed up, like, because to think that you can get out of these and attempt to leave is scary. Especially if you're a grown man in that room. During the interview, Aguilar told officials that he didn't know Nick.
15-year-old Ivan Nick Vateshnik was found dead in a cargo trailer minutes away from his home. A 17-year-old was taken into custody, someone Carrie says Nick spent time with almost every day.
He's been around since he seriously was 4 or 5. And this boy stood up for him. This boy befriended him after his mom died and these kids started picking on him. That's why it makes no sense. He was his friend when he had no one else in the world.
Now all Carrie has is memories.
I got you.
My gentle giant.
I got you.
I've always called him my lover boy. Me and him have always had a special bond.
And that he was at his girlfriend's house the entire day. When he was questioned about the wounds on his hands, he told officers that they were from when he was preparing ribs for a barbecue. Okay, sure. He would later admit to officers that he did know Nick and that he was in the trailer with him that day and that he was the one responsible for Nick's death. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's really not. It's on camera. The medical examiner states that Nick was stabbed in the head 26 times, with one of the wounds penetrating his skull and a fatal wound to his neck. Along with the murder, Aguilera has been charged with additional counts of obstructing justice, attempting to escape from custody, and desecration of a human body. The trial is set to begin the end of this month, and as long as it's made public, I will be following it. I don't know if it's going to be public because he's a minor, but the way I see it, if you do adult things, you pay adult prices. So please like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you haven't. Please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. If you have any case suggestions, please email me, harding527@yahoo.com. And until next time, stay safe out there.